going on, guys? So tonight I'm just going to give you a quick update on the car, kind of go over a few things, some frustrations I'm going through right now, just a little odds and end things I'd like to share with you. So let's start off here. Number one, I want to go over and start about my wife's car and that whole scenario. I know I kind of talked on this before and I didn't go into great detail about it, so I'm going to try and give you guys a little background of what happened. I was supposed to pick up a white hardtop non-turbo Supra up in Pittsburgh. I was working out financing and I finally got everything settled and everything was good to go. We were going back and forth on price a little bit and it all ended up working out. Except for the fact that after everything was said and done, I already told him ahead of time I was going to use a loan. He decided that he no longer wanted to use a loan, or he was uncomfortable with that. Why? I have no idea. It is his car. He's allowed to do whatever he would like. I was, well, to say the last, I was pissed. I was pretty angry. I'm not going to lie. I wanted the car, but at the end of the day, it's his vehicle. He's allowed to do whatever he would like. I could show up and he could say, no, I want to keep it. I mean, it's his vehicle at the end of the day. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. I'm not happy, but it is what it is. It was exactly what my wife wanted. I actually ended up talking to her about it because I just couldn't hold it any longer, and I kind of wanted to get the frustration out and kind of speak to her about it. She didn't like the fact that it was a hard top. I know she wanted a Targa, but for me, I was like all excited I was finding a hard top. The one problem was though too, it was rough. And I mean rough, it had rust all over. I was going to have to get it painted and I was going to have to do some body work. I know the car's pretty well, so I know what can be fixed and what can't be fixed, and everything was fixable. But it was still frustrating how much work it was going to take. It was probably going to take me a good 6 months to get it where I thought it was enough drivable and looked good enough to be like, okay, my wife is okay to drive this. I have no issue with you being in this. I don't want her driving a piece of shit around. It's a Supra, I get it, but at the end of the day, if you see a beat Supra, it's a beat Supra. I mean, a car looks like shit, a car looks like shit. So I didn't want that happening. She deserves better than that. So the search goes on. We did find another one, so we thought, so this gets a little twist to it. I thought I found one out in Ohio, ended up being a scam. I didn't think so at first. Everything seemed legit. It had 1 million pictures. Everything was very up close. Very stockish car, nothing crazy. The price seemed reasonable, wasn't extremely low, wasn't extremely high. It just seemed like a reasonable price. Messaged the guy about it, and the first red flag was, oh, I'm on an oil rig by Africa. Red flag right away. I was like, okay, Africa, oil rig, okay, whatever. Can I call you? No. Second red flag, can't call him. Look up the company that his email shows. It has barely anything on the website. Can't look up anybody for the company. And I'm like, all right, this guy is a fucking fraud. This is spam. So I'm like, okay. He says, oh yeah, by the way, my father died. That's how I got the car. He said, I know how we can get financing. We can go through this one company, you send them this much money up front, and then they give you the loan. I said, that's not, every bank I called said that's not legal. After I said anything about legal, he just stopped answering. I kept pestering him just to piss him off and didn't get anything back. So still in the search for a new car for my wife. If you guys have any suggestions or see anything out there for a reasonable price, I'm trying to stay around the 20,000 mark. Yes, I know that seems low, but I'm looking for a non-turbo NA automatic Supra, nothing special. So I'm really trying to go low with this because she wants an auto. So let me know if you guys can find anything. I myself am still looking for somewhat of a project car. Yes, I know this is my project car, but at the same time, once this is all said and done, once it's tuned and ready, this is going to be my sit it and forget it car. It should be good to go now. Every quality part is on it. It should drive fine. Shouldn't have to really mess with it anymore. Should just, when I want to drive it, it should turn on and go. It should be just like any other vehicle. So looking at all tracks, I'm looking at MR2s, I'm looking at another Supra just for myself, so I guess we would have 3 then, but I don't know what to do. I thought about an SC300. Now, I know that's not the best car in the world from look standard, but it's very similar in chassis-wise. We're almost identical to the chassis of a Supra. Now, there is some differences, don't get me wrong, but they're very similar, and they use a lot of the same parts. The wheelbase is long, just like the Supra, which I like a lot, and it just has a lot of stuff that can be used on both vehicles, which I like. I'm not sure if that's something I want. I do have a buddy, Andrew, who actually bought one close to Baltimore, and it was a beautiful car. I wish I actually would have got it. It was a shell, like a 98 RSP blue color like they come in the Supra. It's something I wish I could have gotten, but it is what it is. So if you guys know of an SC300, any cars out there, please shoot them my way. As usual, you can send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. Both of those links are below in the description, so it makes it easier for you guys. Just click on them and send me a message. Another thing I wanted to talk about, why I still have the Supra and I'm using it as a project, what are some ideas or things you guys would like to see? I'm trying to look for a budget idea. What I mean by that is I'm kind of tired of dumping money after money into it. What are some small things I can do, or something that might take a bunch of time but doesn't cost a whole lot? What are some videos you'd like to see, or what are some things you guys like to see me try that's something you haven't done before but I'm willing to give it a shot? One thing that's going to be happening here shortly, I'm going to give you a little heads up, is I'm going to be restoring headlights. A gentleman out in Pittsburgh actually has an extra set of headlights he's going to send to me. He was kind enough to send me those for free. Thank you very much. I appreciate that again, bud, just to throw that out there. I'm going to kind of do a DIY on how to repair headlights and how to take them apart. I saw now that there's a gentleman selling, I guess, aluminum or chrome rings. You can actually replace the rings in the headlights because they're actually plastic with like a film on them. This way you can actually pop them in and it looks nice. I'm also going to do more of a matte black, or maybe even closer to a gray color, kind of like the 98s. I don't want to do a black housing, as technically the 98s are more of a grayish color. I've seen people do back-to-back comparisons, and it is very much a different headlight when you do a black one versus the 98 one. You can definitely tell the difference. So I'm definitely going to try to keep it as close as possible to a 98 style headlight if possible. I just said possible like a bunch of times. I'm an idiot. I talk way too much and way too fast. It is ungodly bad. But yeah, you guys need to give me some insight on what you would like to see. I don't know what else I can do next with it. I'm not sure. I mean, I've got all the drivetrain stuff done, but what is something else I can do with the car? I'm going to get wheels here, maybe a wrap or paints next to. I've talked about that already, but I'm just not sure. I also would like to get the big Brembo brake kit for an SRT8. I saw that's become real popular now. There's a couple guys doing that. And then they use the Evo 8 brakes in the rear. I'd like to kind of keep the NA brakes because eventually I don't make the power for it, but I'd like to get a set of like 15-inch weld wheels with a nice big fat sidewall. I think that would look sick. Only problem with that is I do like to drive in the back roads. When you have a big thick sidewall like that, the car handles like crap. So it's a give and take kind of thing. So maybe I'll be, when I go to cruise week, I'll throw those on the car and then keep these wheels for some other time. I don't know. I'm just throwing it up in the air what I'm going to try and see what works and what doesn't work. I know another thing I'm going to work on here for you is I'm trying to get a lift finally said and done. Over on the wall here, I already have all the electrical done, so that's already handled. I just got to decide on one. I was looking at what's called the max jacks because my ceilings are only 10 foot, 9 inches tall. I can't exactly fit a full-size lift. I can get pretty damn close, but nothing exactly fits. I'm looking for a 2-post lift just because I work on my car, so I want access to everything. A 4-post would be nice just for the fact that it's much easier. You just roll up on, and they actually make almost like a mini lift that goes underneath, but you can actually lift up the car if you need to get the wheels off, etc. I need to look into that maybe a little bit more, but I'm just not sure which route to go down, or if anyone has some insight on that too. I don't have any real experience with lifts. None of my friends do either. I'm going to be the first one of any of my friends to really have a lift. So I'll probably actually gain some friends from that because I know some people are probably going to want to bring their cars over to do work on them if I have a lift. I probably should charge them fuckers for that shit. Yeah, I'm definitely going to. But yeah, if you guys give me some insight on what lifts you've tried or have worked with, the Max Jacks I believe is like $2,500 shipped to your door. I mean, you can't really beat that. Actually, it might not even be that much. It might be cheaper than that. I think it's almost $1,000 just to install it, and you're probably saying, why don't you do it yourself? Well, if I'm going to be putting this on it, I don't trust myself doing it, just being honest. I've seen the videos doing it. I just don't trust myself. I just don't trust myself with something that could really screw something up, screw my house up, screw the car up if it falls off. I mean, I just don't want to take that chance. It's just not worth it in my eye. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I do all this other stuff, so you guys give me some insight. If you've done it before, please let me know. But it seems like a very big task and something I'm not going to want to handle or jump into. I'm still working on the back wall here. I need to get a real workbench too. I know where all the Huskies and everything are lined up right now. But I need something else for the back corner where I have that mini table. I'd like to get a big metal table or almost like a welding table. I do have another 220 outlet there, so I do have room to put another legit welder, like a TIG welder, MIG welder or something. Since I do have drywall walls in my garage, MIG welder is not exactly something you want to use, so maybe a TIG will be something I'll invest in here shortly. I still don't have an air compressor either, but all the air compressors I want run off like a regular 120, 125 outlet, so that's not a big deal. I don't need the 220 for that. But yeah, there's some things I still need to do yet. So this video is pretty much to give you guys an update, kind of throw some ideas out there to you as I spill water down my hand because I shook the water that's in it. So yeah, you guys need to give me some feedback so I know where to go next. I like to do these little update videos because I seem to get the most comments from it and I seem to get the most feedback, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. Thank you guys very much as usual. I appreciate everything you do. I love making these videos. I love the feedback you guys give me, whether it be positive or negative. It is what it is. I look for anything you guys can give me. I'm always trying to better myself. I know I talk too fast. I know I have a hard time staying on topic, but that's just who I am and how it's going to be. If you guys could do me a favor, please follow me on Facebook at Pure Function Engineering, or go check out my Instagram at purefunction_. Both of those are linked below in the description. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.